diving a little bit deeper into my last video, how reality doesn't exist, there is plenty of proof to show that reality doesn't exist. One of them being scientific. Look into the double slit experiment. When you look into this, it will blow your mind. Scientists have killed themselves over the conclusion of this study because it means that our reality is false. It doesn't exist. I'll basically do a rundown of the experiments. They sent particles through two slits, and they observed the pattern that they made on a sheet. And they did this all the way back in the 40s and 50s. And they did this experiment multiple times. It has been recreated time and time again throughout the ages. And basically what happened was whenever the particles were being observed through sensors and being recorded, they would act as particles. But whenever they were not being observed and not being recorded, they would act as waves through this slit, or these two slits. And the scientists ultimately came to the conclusion that particles act as waves when they're not being observed, but they act as particles when they're being observed. What does this mean? It means that reality is created by consciousness, and that, you know, when you're not looking at something, when no one's looking at something, when there's no consciousness in an area, an object will disappear. It will turn into waves. It won't completely disappear, but it will turn into another form, another shape. Imagine an ice cube turning into water when you walk away, when no one is observing it. Imagine it turning into water. And then imagine when you walk into the room, it turns back into an ice cube instantaneously. Would you know the difference? Of course not. That's the idea of reality. That's how reality is. Everything, when you're not observing it, is just a wave. It's nothing more than a wave. It means it doesn't exist, and that the human consciousness as a whole, is everything. It's what creates the universe. Now, this doesn't denounce everything I've been saying about synchronicities, about God, about spirituality and human existence. This, for me, personally, seals the deal even more. It proves everything I've been saying. And let me explain why. If this is false, if this isn't real, if this reality is nothing more than a fabrication by consciousness, that means that something or someone had to create this universe. It might be just me. Maybe I'm the only one in existence. Maybe, collectively, our consciousness has created this reality, or a God has created this reality. I believe all of the above. I believe that God is the collective consciousness, that God is the individual and the whole. I think God is the perspective, because God is everywhere. God experiences everything and knows everything. How can he do this if he's not everywhere? Okay? And if things disappear when they're not being observed, this means they don't exist, and that God can't possibly be observing these things if they're not in existence. Do you understand what I'm saying? God must be the collective consciousness, and God must be all of us. Now, I'm not saying I'm God, I'm not saying you're God, I'm saying we're pieces of God, because God is the collective consciousness. And we are just bits and pieces of the collective consciousness. We're just one in the whole. So, what I'm saying is, these synchronicities, these astral projections and spiritual entities are absolutely real, but they are not in the way that we think, because this reality is fabricated. It is fake. It is not real, and there is no proof that this reality is real. It's like a dream. There's so many contradictions in science, so many contradictions in history and literature, and you could maybe make an argument that humans are just faulty and we are very bad at comprehending this universe. You could maybe make that argument, but it's a very hard one to make. When things seemingly can change before your eyes, look into the Mandela effect. Look into flat Earth. Look into, just all sorts of things. Look into spirituality. Things change before your very eyes. The Mandela effect is the 100% proof that reality can shift and change as it pleases. And, flat Earth, what I was getting at there was, if you look into flat Earth, it absolutely is proven that the Earth is flat. But it's absolutely proven that the Earth is round. How is this possible that they're contradictory, but they're both equally as valid? And people pick a side on this issue. They say, oh, well, the Earth must be flat and it can't be round. And the Earth is round and it can't be flat. And anybody that thinks differently is insane. That's what's propagated by both sides, that the other side is just crazy. Well, what if you're both right? What if the Earth is round and it is flat? Because if reality doesn't exist, both are equally as valid. The Earth must shift and change its form as it pleases. What I'm trying to get at people is, we create our reality. Consciousness is what creates reality. And when you understand this, that consciousness creates reality, we have a lot of power. We have a lot of potential to do good. And we aren't God. We aren't that magnificent, but every religion is interconnected. Look at the Buddhists. Look at the Hindus. They believe in the collective consciousness. Although they don't really explicitly say that, they believe that consciousness is just an experience of itself, that we are living because we need to experience. This is things I've already been saying about Christianity, that God is nothing more than the collective consciousness, that God is all. And the idea of Satan is the other side. It is the negativity, the evil. God is the all. And Jesus is the representation of the positivity. It's the yin and the yang. The universe is full of the yin and the yang. This wouldn't even be possible if reality it did exist. Because if it existed, then that means that there's no predictability. That means that the laws of the universe wouldn't exist. It would be mass mayhem. Things would just be crazy. There would be death, destruction. Life probably wouldn't even exist if reality was real. Look into any scientist and they will tell you that there's laws for the universe. This isn't possible unless there's a creation here. And if things disappear when they're not being observed, and there's laws for the things that are being observed, This means that there had to be a creator here. There had to be some sort of creator. And if we create our reality, do you understand like what I'm trying to get out? We are all a piece of God. We are in His image. We are like everything. Reality doesn't exist without us. So this is what I mean. And you have so much power as an individual. You can imagine anything and it will come to life. That rock on the tree, I wanted it to fall, and it fell. And why it fell the first time was because I was expecting a different result. I was focusing on the rock, putting all my energy into this rock, and it fell off the tree because I was focusing on it. And I put all my energy in this rock on a tree. And why it stayed on the tree for so long is because I focused all my energy on the rock, and I wanted it to stay. We are in control, people, because we have the power of God on our side. This is the idea of the Holy Spirit. This is what gives life to the universe. It is consciousness. Consciousness is the Holy Spirit. Consciousness is the peace of God that's within us all. So, what I'm trying to get out, what this whole thing is about, is that God is real, synchronicities are real, spirituality is real, astral projections are real, the earth is flat, the earth is round, the universe isn't real, and it is real because this is nothing more than a creation. This is nothing more than an illusion. It's a dream. Dreams are created, people, and so is the universe. So when you actually realize that the world is just fake, and so is the universe, you realize something very beautiful, that there is a lot more to discover, a lot more that hasn't even been seen, that hasn't even been flashed into existence yet. This is how the Mandela effect even exists. It's because things change as they please. If reality doesn't exist, anything can happen. That's how human anatomy changes, that's how continents shift, that's how historical events change, that's how famous people have died and been reborn within seconds. That's how everything in the world is happening, because it doesn't exist. That's what I was trying to get out in that video. I wasn't trying to say that just we're living in the Matrix, go be crazy and go kill yourself. I didn't mean to say it like that. I meant to say that we're more alive than ever. We're more awake than ever as human beings. And this realization that the earth is just fake, that it's nothing more than a fabrication, proves how magnificent we actually are, how powerful as individuals we actually are, and how we individually can change the world. So, this is what I was trying to get out. This is what I was trying to say. So, love you all. Continue to live in the craziness, Love you all. Peace.